Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on the Deakin Pathway program at AIBS Campus. My name is Shehan Gunasekara. I'm the head of marketing here at AIBS Campus, and it's a pleasure to have you all with us today. Today's session will be focusing on the Pathway program in business, leading to Bachelor of Business Analytics and Bachelor of Commerce at Deakin University. We will also explore how local students, both post-O-level and post-A-level, can progress through these programs and reach their academic and professional goals. Now, today with me, I have two guests joining in representing Deakin. First, I'm thrilled to introduce our first speaker. Joining us is Ms. Bri Gunn, the international manager at Deakin International. And also with us, we have Shanal, who's the marketing and recruitment officer at Deakin. Without further ado, I will pass over the session to Bri. Bri Gunn is the international manager at Deakin University, based at the Burwood campus in Melbourne. Bri has over 10 years of experience in the international education industry. In her role, she works with Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Singapore, Malaysia, and Brunei. There's none other than Bri to give us an overall image about the pathways available at Deakin University for Sri Lankan students, and to give us a better understanding about how it's like studying in Australia in general. Bri, it's an honor to have you with us today, and the session is over to you.
Thank you very much, Shehan. Welcome, everyone. It's such a pleasure to see some of your faces and see so many names on the screen. So I'm going to just attempt to share my screen. Share. Perfect. Are you seeing that now, Shehan? I'll just check for your... Yep, perfect.
Yes, we can see, Bri.
Okay, wonderful. Well, welcome to the session between Deakin and AIBS, and it's an incredible pathway that we have. So I'm just going to share with you a little bit about Australia, Melbourne, Deakin, and a little bit about some of the courses that we have before I hand back to Shehan, who will take you through some of the more course specifics of the pathway. So he's spoiled it by saying where we are, but where is Deakin? So Deakin is in Australia, and we're actually one of the top 1% of universities worldwide. You can see our favourite little friend, the kangaroo there. But in Australia is obviously a pretty big country. And where are we? We're actually in Sri Lanka's favourite destination in Australia, which is in Victoria. So you can see there's some of the incredible attractions that we have in Victoria. We have things such as the penguins down at Phillip Island, where you can go down for the day and watch them all come in at sunset, hundreds and hundreds of penguins coming up in the evening. We've got the Puffing Billy train. It's one of the oldest steam trains that still operates in Australia. So that's an exciting ride that everyone likes to take up in the beautiful hillside of the Mount Dandenongs. Then we have down there, for those who like to be a little bit more active, you can see our Grampians National Park, which has some beautiful walks in it and incredible food. Then along the coast there is the 12 Apostles, and that's along the famous coastline, which is the Great Ocean Road, which is very much loved by all of our students who come to look. And for those of you who do like a road trip and like a bit of art, we have some incredible silo art trails that are out in the country of Victoria areas that you're able to go and visit. So not only are we in the top 1% of universities in Australia, we are very, very proud to be the #1 university in our state for student satisfaction. And that's been for about 13 years in a row now. So that really tells us how much students just love their experience at Deakin. And you can tell there that you will definitely, if you don't already have friends and family from Sri Lanka in Victoria, be able to make some friends from local home very quickly, because we are actually home to over 85,000 Sri Lankans, and we're one of the largest diasporas in Melbourne of having Sri Lankans that are outside of the country. So Deakin's located obviously in Victoria, but we have 4 different campuses that are there. So we have the Melbourne campus in the where we're based in Burwood. We have 2 campuses in Geelong, and then we have a further campus out in Warrnambool. Today we're going to focus on the Melbourne campus and the Waterfront campus, as they're the 2 locations that this pathway allows you to go and study. So what's it like living in Melbourne? So here's some of the key attractions that we have. We have Hosier Lane there. Melbourne's a very big art scene, so you'll see lots of different incredible graffiti all around the streets that's done by wonderful artists. But it is ranked the #1 student city in Australia, and it's also incredibly #5 in the world. So we love having our international students and supporting them both at the university level and also the government through initiatives such as Study Melbourne. There's lots of incredible support in Melbourne, and it's just a wonderful city to live in. It's very bright and multicultural city. So we're very big on food, and if you don't already drink coffee, I'm sure by the time you leave Melbourne, you will be a coffee addict. So lots of different options for you to be able to eat and drink, both local home Sri Lankan restaurants and of course getting to actually explore new cuisines that are outside of what you'd be used to. Not only are we a top student city, we're a top city in the world, full stop. So it's actually ranked in the top 4 most livable cities in the world, and it's got excellent public transport. So that's part of the ranking that they look at, and we're always between #1 and #5 in the world. So we've got a wonderful city there. What you're looking at is the Flinders Street station, and that's one of the key places that both we have a lot of trains and also trams that take off. So trams are well known in Melbourne. For any of you sport fans, it is one of the capitals of the world for sport. Every single weekend there is multiple sporting events happening all at the same time. And for any of the cricket fans, you may be familiar with the Melbourne Cricket Ground Stadium. It's an incredible atmosphere, in particular for the Boxing Day Test, which changes countries each year. And of course, for our local sport, which is AFL, which is Australian Rules Football, and it will be mandatory for you all to pick a team if you end up in Melbourne and go and visit some of the very cold games. And then, of course, for those of you who aren't into anything like that, there's heaps of festivals and events and immersive activities. So we have incredible art galleries. This picture here is of the Moomba Festival. So that's something that happens once a year and has incredible activities that people can go to for free to attend. We have cultural festivals all over the weekend. So lots of different celebrations that you can, of course, come and enjoy in Melbourne. So our Melbourne Burwood campus, this is a little bit of a map of the region, and you can see here that it is about 30 minutes outside of the Melbourne CBD, but it's so convenient because one of those trams I talked about will take you directly from the city straight to our doorstep at Deakin in Burwood. There's great food options from all over the world on campus and nearby. So you can get things that you would like at home really close. There's an incredible suburb next to Burwood called Box Hill, which is sort of the hub of Asian food all around Melbourne. And there's a direct bus that takes you from Deakin to Box Hill. And that makes it nice and easy for you to be able to access some great food. There's also accommodation on campus and 24-hour security. So that's really important, in particular for students who are looking at a bachelor degree and for those who are moving out of home for the first time, and perhaps you don't know one of the other 85,000 Sri Lankans in Melbourne. That really does help you to have somewhere you can go and live, feel really safe, be around students who are in a similar situation to you, being brand new to the area, and get to have some really great fun that they organise on campus. We'll now head along to our Geelong campus. So living in Geelong is the second biggest city in Victoria. So it's also considered by UNESCO to be one of the world's cities of designs. So, for example, one of the other cities of designs that you'd be familiar with would be Singapore. So some of the really big cities that are big cities of design, and this includes our suburb of Geelong. It's a gorgeous coastal town, lots of beaches available for you to have an incredible lifestyle. And as it says, the best part of it, it's only a 1-hour train directly from our campus to the Melbourne city centre. So it's very easy to get from Geelong to Melbourne, very close to each other. This here is the Bellarine Peninsula. Again, we are obsessed with food in Victoria as a state. There's incredible fresh produce, and it's a really great area for you to start to explore with some of your friends when you move to Geelong. Sport and leisure, really similar to Melbourne. We have the Geelong Cats, is the football team there that Deakin also sponsors. Back in 2023, we had the T20 World Cup from memory, maybe it was 22 now. And Sri Lanka actually played one of their matches here in Geelong at this very stadium that was a full house of all of our local Sri Lankans attending to cheer on the team. So you can still get this really easy access, even though you're 1 hour outside of the city. And again, lots of music festivals. Mount Dunedin Estate is a popular place, in particular in summer, to host some of the biggest international acts in an outdoor area. So this is our waterfront campus here that you can see in the background. It actually used to be an old wool shed that we took over and we've converted into this incredible space. So some of the subjects that are taught there, some of the courses do include our business course. We have some nursing there, and in particular, the flagships here are also our architecture and our construction management courses, because it's such a beautiful building inside. As I mentioned, there's the train only 1 hour outside, so that stops right at campus. Even though it's the second biggest city, it's still a population of nearly 300,000. So that's still a really big population. Australia's whole population is pretty similar to Sri Lanka's, probably at about 28 million now. I think you're at about 24 million, so not too dissimilar. But of course, Australia is much, much bigger in terms of size. Now, the other great thing about Geelong is that it is considered a regional campus. So those of you who might be looking to stay on after you complete 2 years of study would be entitled at the moment, as the government has it, to stay back 1 extra year if you do choose to study at Geelong. Obviously, you need to check those requirements when you're coming to Australia, as they do change, but that is one benefit of a regional campus. Now, even though it's called regional, as I mentioned, it's still got everything that you could possibly want, and also just that 1 hour train to Melbourne. So that's where it is a bit different to some of the other regional campuses in Australia, that it still has direct access to one of the biggest cities in Australia. And again, we've got accommodation on campus here, 24-hour security, and it's some of the most beautiful accommodation that you can imagine in Geelong, because it looks all over that waterfront there that you can see in some of those images. So why study at Deakin? We've shared some of those rankings with you. I guess our biggest one that we're proud of is the one that I shared with you about the student satisfaction. You're probably looking at this and thinking, why would I want online study when I'm in the country? But what it is more, it's about having great online platforms so that you're able to access any recordings if you've missed it, or when you're going to do your revision for exams, you can go back and look at all of that material that you've learned at your time at Deakin. We're also very big on accredited courses, which I'll talk to you about the business ones shortly. And our work integrated learning is an umbrella term for all of the practical learning that we do outside the classroom, such as internships, business consulting activities, and those types of things. So I mentioned that we do have accommodation on campus. So these are the sort of prices that you would be looking at as of today. And then you can also see that there's off campus as an option. So that can sometimes be cheaper, or it can even go more expensive. And for Bachelor students, we do really encourage you to try to get a room on campus if it's available. It is a really great way to start university life. It's fun. It's safe for your parents who might be worried about you. It's a good option if you may never have cooked before, and you can meet up with other students who have. We've got rooms that are single rooms so that you can have your own room with all of your facilities, or we also have houses that are got shared rooms. And what that means is you'd have your very own bedroom, but some of the facilities such as kitchen and lounge room would be shared with some of your other housemates. So it's a great way to get to meet new people as well. And living off campus, we can also help you with that option as well. Student services and support. So we're very big on making sure that our students feel really welcome at Deakin. So you can see here we host an international student welcome as well as our big orientation, which we really encourage students to be there for. It's a great time that you get to know the campus and learn all about what fun activities we have, as well as the serious side of studying. There is student mentors, which is really helpful so that you can meet people who have been in a similar situation to you, ask them all of the questions that you might have, and then you yourself, after you've done your menteeship, can apply to be a mentor and get some leadership experience as well. Really good security on campus, and of course airport pickup, which is so nice when you land for your first time in Melbourne. Someone comes and picks you up straight from the airport, and that's all organised by Deakin. And then I think most importantly, in addition to doing your study, is enjoying your life while you're in Melbourne, and you get to do that through Deakin, some of the clubs and societies, whether you might be into a sport or a religious club or something completely different. It could be your course, for example, commerce club, lots of different societies and clubs that you can join that make your experience in Melbourne and at Deakin just a little bit more fun. So one of the biggest support services that we have is our graduate employment division, and this is called Deakin Talent. And what this, I've gone too far. Let me go back. What this does is this helps students right from day one all the way through to even after they're graduated. As you can see there, it's available for life. So this is a service that you can access no matter which part of your studying at Deakin career you're in. It is award-winning, in particular for our service and support to international students. And they do help you from step one all the way through to advertising jobs at the end. So, for example, you might come to Australia and we don't really have as much of a hierarchy in a lot of our businesses as you may be familiar with here. So they'll teach you a little bit about the workplace, because not only is it about getting a job after you finish, but it's also about the part-time jobs that you might have whilst you're studying. So in Australia at the moment, you're allowed to work up to 48 hours per fortnight in a casual job to support you whilst you're in Australia. It's very common for international students to work, but it's also almost every single domestic Australian student will have been working since they were probably 15 years old. Very common to do part-time work in Australia, and heaps of different opportunities available. They're not always going to necessarily be related to your course, but they might be things like working in supermarkets, restaurants, those types of opportunities, which are great for you to get some experience into the Australian workforce, as well as of course, a little bit of extra money to support some of the fun activities that you might want to do when you're not studying. But this program itself that we've designed has things that will give you career resources. They'll do resume writing with you, so you can see their resume and job application review. You may never have written one before and you need some help, or if you have written one, you might just need some tweaking for an Australian style. They'll do some interview practice with you, as well as, of course, showing different jobs that are available to Deakin at Deakin, as well as outside, that you can look to apply for, and connecting you in with industry. So they're a really important service that we have. They are the #1 in the state as well. And it's something that we highly encourage you to get engaged with, because that really will help you in landing the dream job that you have after your studies. So the partnership that we have with AIBS, these pathways allow you to go into the Deakin Business School. And the Deakin Business School, again, very highly ranked, as you can see, but it's got global accreditations, and there's not many business schools in the world that have these. There's about 150. And so EQUIS is a European accreditation, AACSB is an American accreditation. Now, you don't need to worry too much about this now, but when you graduate, it just means that you can take your degree anywhere in the world and it's recognised. So as I mentioned, the pathways here, we've got the Bachelor of Commerce and we've got the Bachelor of Analytics. business analytics available to you. They're two of the most popular courses at Deakin. So our commerce degree has really exciting professional majors. So think accounting, think management, finance options, information systems, if you're wanting to get behind sort of systems rather than being at the tech side of them. So lots of different options that you can choose to major in. And then we also have the analytics degree. So that one's accredited by the Australian Computer Society, which is really important. So no matter what degree you look to do overseas, make sure that it's got the relevant accreditations. So similar to the commerce degree, our accounting's accredited by the major accounting bodies that are relevant, as well as finance and marketing. They've all got the relevant accreditations. One thing that we do at Deakin is we really design our courses in collaboration with industry to make sure that they're relevant. So some of our courses, for example, our engineering, we've removed all of the exams because industry told us we don't want exams anymore. We want people to have practical knowledge. So you can see here that we've moved towards practical learning with all of our degrees, and both the analytics degree and the commerce degree have work integrated learning embedded in them. So you might do a normal type of internship where you go to a company and you work with them as an intern, or you might take on a business consulting role. So for example, I mentioned here that PwC works with us. They'll often give us projects that they want our students to work on for them. So when you graduate, you would have a consulting project done for one of the big 4 firms in Australia. We also do projects with much smaller organisations as well. And these can be really great because the work that you do really makes an impact to that organisation. So that's just some of the opportunities that you have while you're studying in the business degrees. Our business analytics degree was the first one that was designed in Australia. And why that's been really important for us is it's allowed us to change our curriculum over the years to make sure that it is really aligned with industry. And we have lots of graduates that can come back and talk to us about what we desire in the workforce. And then, of course, the salaries, the most important thing. We've got really good salary outcomes from all of these degrees. I just had a look at analytics on the seek.com.au, which is the biggest job portal in Australia. And at the moment, there's over 8,000 jobs just that come up under business analytics that are available. And you can be looking at sort of the $100,000 mark after a couple of years of graduation. So very strong areas and also very strong global demand, which is nice if you decide to come back to Sri Lanka or perhaps want to look somewhere else in the world. There's great global demand for these roles. And then I'm just going to finish up with everybody's favourite question of what scholarships are available. So these are when you come to Deakin after you've completed at AIBS. So we offer options for 150% scholarships. These are all merit-based, so it depends on your grades while you're studying. These require you to have very strong grades as well as demonstrating significant leadership skills. We also have 25% scholarships available to students with great grades. And then the business and law faculty, which is where they sit, so the Deakin Business School, offer also a 10% fee reduction for students who are through pathway institutes and partner institutions, which of course AIBS is one of. So that's all that I just wanted to share a little bit about what it's like to study at Deakin, and also happy to take any questions that people might have a bit later on after we've finished the presentation. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Bri, for that insightful presentation. I'm sure our audience now has a much clearer understanding of the opportunities and experiences awaiting them at Deakin University and in Australia as a whole. So now I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about the Deakin Pathway program that we offer at AIBS Campus. This program is designed to provide a seamless transition for local students to transit into Deakin University's bachelor programs in business analytics and Bachelor of Commerce. Let me quickly share my screen. I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes, sure.
Right. So before I describe about the pathway program at AIBS campus, let me give you all a small introduction about AIBS. So we, Asian Institute of Business and Science, we were established back in 2018. And AIBS campus was founded with the sole purpose of making internationally accredited qualifications accessible, making them accessible to Sri Lankan students. The prime location where our main campus is strategically located in the heart of Boralla, offering state-of-the-art facilities and a convenient learning environment, which is supported by our highly experienced faculty. We currently deliver few of the leading market-leading pre-university pathway programs, including the International Foundation Diploma, which is offered by NCC, and Ontario Secondary School Diploma, and the Australian Foundation year with Navitas. And we do have a strategic university partnership with the HL University UK, and with them we offer 7 degree programs in Sri Lanka across the disciplines of life sciences, business, and IT. And this pathway program with Deakin is one of our innovative strategies. We wanted to introduce such pathway programs to Australia, Canada, and UK, targeting the top ranked universities and trending universities among Sri Lankan students, where they could complete part of their studies in Sri Lanka and then seamlessly transfer into their destined country and the university. So Deakin Pathway at AIBS campus, as Bri continuously mentioned, Deakin is among the top 1% universities in the worldwide. And Deakin is known for their high quality education and excellent employment prospects for their graduates. This pathway program we deliver at AIBS campus are known for three things, I would say. This is a fast-tracked, cost-effective, and an assured pathway to Deakin. We have a dedicated faculty at AIBS School of Business delivering this Deakin Pathway program. This is going to be a full-time program, so this will give our students an engaging campus life, of course, with modern facilities at the AIBS main campus. And along with the pathway, this is something we have been in discussion with. Our students will get the opportunity to engage with the Deakin visiting faculty and guest speakers, which will give them a better understanding what will be waiting for them once they transferred into Deakin during their second year of studies. And AIBS undergraduates will be able to delve deeper into the domain knowledge within this pathway program, as we expect to cover almost 240 plus credits within this short period of time. And always trying to make things much easier, trying to give best service as possible. Our students will also will be receiving an IELTS coaching program during their period of studies. And also we will be providing you free of charge student visa services as well. Now, to give you a little bit of a understanding about the structure of the program, as you could see, there are two ways you could enter into this particular pathway program. If you are an after O-level student who has completed GCE or IGCSE ordinary levels with 5 credit passes, including English and mathematics, you could directly enroll into our International Foundation Diploma, which is offered by NCC UK. This particular foundation program will be a 10 months program, which will guarantee your entry into the Deakin Pathway program in business offered at the AIBS campus. And at the end of the International Foundation Diploma, you also have the access to directly transfer to Deakin University if you would like to pursue your entire 3 years at Deakin University itself. And if you are an after A-level student with 3 simple passes in any stream, you could directly enroll in our Deakin Pathway program, which is 12 months long, which is also equal to the first year of the degree program at Deakin with the prior learning credit agreement that we possess. Now, as you could see, we have given you the accessibility to two of the most trending bachelor's programs at Deakin, and especially among our Sri Lankan students, which is Bachelor of Business Analytics and Bachelor of Commerce. And as you can see, if you are a student who's passionate about completing your undergraduate studies in commerce, there are a few majors that you could select as well, such as accounting, economics, finance. And if you have any specific questions related to these, of course, you could point them out during the Q&A session. Now, why Deakin Pathway program at AIBS Campus? So as I've been telling you before, this is going to be an extensive curriculum which will delve deeply into the domain knowledge. So compared to so many other pathway programs, you will be able to start from the fundamentals and learn up to the uh, advanced subject, which will be leading, which will give you a better foundation, which will provide you with a better foundation when you are getting into the second and third year of your undergraduate studies. And of course, our pathway students will have the opportunity to complete a research project during their second semester, which will give you a better chance to develop your soft skills, your out of the box thinking, your analytical skills, which will definitely help you when you continue your higher studies in Deakin. And as I mentioned, this pathway program will cover 240 credits. And also this will be evaluated via assignments only. So I think that will give you a little bit of a breathing space, because I know most of the students coming after O-levels, after A-levels, you guys you had exams. So this is going to be evaluated through assignments, which will give you a better chance, or make it much convenient for you to score and maintain a good GPA. And as we mentioned, we hope that you will get the maximum out of this so that you will be eligible to secure one of those scholarships. And the entire investment that you will have to invest on this pathway program would be approximately 700,000, which is a very cost-effective option considering the situation as of now. And also you can complete this pathway program within a span of 12 months. So at the end of the presentation, there will be a Q&A session. And if you have any specific questions related to the pathway and how you could get into pathway, you can point them out. And also after today's session, our counselors will be in touch with you to provide more in detail information regarding the syllabus, payment plans, as such. So that's pretty much what I have to explain about the pathway program. And with me today, I have Ms. Osanthi Watavana, our Chief Operating Officer at AIBS Campus. And Osanthi is a proud alumni of the Deakin University, where she has completed her Master's in International Relations. Osanthi also comes on board with the extensive experience as a past student and as a visa officer, having served as the team leader for temporary visa at the Department of Immigration and Border Protection at Australian High Commission. So I would say Osanthi has been on the both side of the story. And Osanthi brings a wealth of knowledge and first-hand experience that is invaluable to our students. So Osanthi, I would like for you to take over the session and give us your experience as proud Deakin alumni, and what will be awaiting for our Sri Lankan students when they finally engage in their higher education in Australia. Over to you, Osanthi.
Thanks, Shahan, and good evening, Bri, Shanal, and all the others who are with us now. There's nothing much to say because Bri covered about Deakin and about Melbourne, and Shahan covered about AIBS. I'll share with you about my experience at Deakin. I went to Deakin in 2017, for my second master's or master's in research. Then even with a lot of experience as a working person after so many years of education, but I still felt homesick as soon as I went there because it's a huge cultural shock. I was a graduate from Sri Jayawardenepura. My first degree is from Sri Jayawardenepura. My master's is from Japura. So going there is a huge change for me, like when it comes to the learning environment as well as the people. But with no time, Deakin became my second home, kind of, even for now. So I made a lot of friends. All of them were from different countries. I had, in my small cohort, I had friends from Pakistan, India, China, Nepalese, then from Cambodia, Russia, Kenya. Still, I'm in touch with them. So Deakin is a multicultural, multi-ethnicity university, and I was a mentor and a mentee. As soon as I went to Deakin, I used that facility. That's an amazing facility which is offered by Deakin, and if I'm not wrong, that's something that attract even the students from other universities. So during my time at Deakin, we had a couple of students from Uni Melbourne. You might know Uni Melbourne. Uni Melbourne is one of GO8 universities, like the main universities in Australia. The student came not because of anything. They came because of the student support at Deakin. So imagine a student, a domestic student coming from Uni Melbourne to Deakin, that support which is given by Deakin. It's like, as a person who has experience in first hand, I can vouch for it, because the support, the student support, that is not even Deakin talent, but if you are poor in your academic writing, because it's a different way of writing when it comes to academic, like your assignments, your exams, you can get that support from the academic writing panel. There's a tutor who you can forward your assignment and ask whether this is in right track. It's like a formative feedback. They are not going to tell you, okay, do like this, but they will tell you or guide you, no, you have to do like this. You have to be analytical in your studies. Like, even you miss some marks in your first semester, you can gain the marks from the second semester with that support. So that is one thing. Student mentoring is one thing. And then the library facility, which is amazing. And during the exams, they used to have I'm not sure whether you have now. They have like this therapy dogs who are coming to the campus during the exam period, and they're always there in the library area. We can go and release our stress. We can play with the dogs. We can cuddle them, do everything, because they know how stressful the exam periods are. I'm not sure whether it is available now, Bri. But that's one, the other thing. And mainly the environment, it's friendly and secured. You can, even midnight, I used to walk to my, I was not in-house student or in-campus students, I was living close by, but I used to walk from the campus to my apartment in the midnight. During the campus, like even in the midnight, you can access the library because it's 24/7. And after the studies, it's the Melbourne or the Burwood area is secured, as Bri mentioned. So nothing to worry about it. So my, I would say 3 years at Deakin was amazing experience, and all the knowledge I got, like, yes, I went with a master's, with my second master's, I think it's opened up a huge area for me, thinking, the creativeness, everything. So students, if you want to go there to Deakin, I have, like, you shouldn't have any doubt about it. You will get a support from Deakin, from the academics, academic administration, every person, even the security personnel will support you. So AIBS, I'm not going to talk about AIBS because I'm the head of the institute or the chief operating officer. I can't praise my own tail. So I leave it that, but I would like to express my experience as a Deakin student. So go there, experience that amazing life at Deakin. So thank you, Shehan. Thank you for the this surprise.
Thank you, Santi, for sharing your journey and insights with us. I must say it's truly inspiring to hear about your experience, both as a Deakin alumni and how it helped in your professional career. Uh, I think now it's time for us to open up the Q&A session. Dear attendees, if you have any questions about the Pathway program, uh, about the Deakin University, and what sort of a life awaiting you in Australia, please feel free to use the chat box and forward your questions to us, and we are happy to answer them. Right. So I'm getting few questions through our WhatsApp channel as well. This is from Nipuni. I'm still wondering what to pick between business analytics and finance. Could you please help me out? Okay. Bri, would you like to take that question?
Oh, it's always a tough question to try to help people out with which subject to choose, because I think it's a very long time that you're going to be working in the industry. So I think it's really important that you need to pick what you're most interested in. I guess the one thing that I would say is, in particular in Australia, and I imagine it's the same here, is that people change careers multiple times throughout their life. You're never stuck in anything. People who have, obviously, we want our doctors to have a medical degree. So there's no argument there, and our lawyers to have a law degree. But being in finance or business analytics can still find you in jobs that can be similar and can cross over a little bit as you go through life. I think the best thing that you can do is obviously look at what AIBS is going to teach you in their pathway, and then have a look at the Deakin degree. When you go online to the Deakin website, you can look at the degree and the specific units that you would be taking in the Deakin degree. You can click into those and you can read in depth what the type of thing you'll be studying will be. That will give you a really good opportunity to start to understand whether that's something that you want to do or whether that really doesn't interest you so much. Two quite different things, but obviously lots of synergy. There's also opportunities in analytics to go into financial analytics, and finance people need a lot of analysts to be able to do their job. And obviously in reverse, the analysts need people from finance to come and work with them to help in their decision making. So the skills are very much crossover. You just need to think about whether there's a particular field you want to go into. At Deakin, also in our finance major, we have a room called the trading room. So it was in the video pack that you might have seen, but it's a simulated trading environment where we have students who are interested in becoming perhaps investment bankers or something similar to that, come and work as if they're a bank for one of their units, and they have to trade with other people in the room. And they do that in a simulated environment to get experience as if they were on the floor of the stock exchange, those types of things. So there's some really incredible options for you to look at. The other thing is have a look at what your course might be. You may get some electives, you may not, but if you get some electives, you can also take things from some of the other disciplines. So just have a really good look at the units that are on offer. Think about whether that's relevant to you. As I mentioned, seek, seek.com.au. That's an employee hub. So you could even go on and search finance finance jobs and analytics jobs and start to see some of the trends around what's available and what type of thing interests you more. So it's very hard for us to give you what you should do, but they're both very important fields, and you can think analytics has grown significantly globally, but basically every single company needs somebody who works in finance. So both very solid career outcomes for you, no matter which one you pick. Just choose the one that's going to make you happier for the longest amount of time.
Right. So Nipuni, I hope you've got a comprehensive answer that will help you to pick the best. Now, there's another question which has been directed to me by Motila Disanaika. Australia has a striked student visa for Sri Lankans. How will it affect us?
Yeah, we do have strict visa conditions, and that's globally. That's not just for Sri Lanka. I'd like to make that very clear. But look, when you're they've implemented something called genuine student checks. So if you are a genuine student, you can look up all of those different requirements on the Department of Home Affairs website for the Australian government, and you can see what they are, make sure that you meet those. And we've also got a team here in Sri Lanka, a Deakin team, that can also assist you to give you advice. And obviously there's an agency side. So you may like to use Emergence Agency, or we do have other ones that you can use that can give you support as well. And also talking to AIBS as you start about your profile as a student, and they can give you some guidance whether they think that in the current scenario that would be a good choice for you. And if that's a good choice, then obviously you can go through that pathway program. We can't guarantee anything ever, unfortunately, but at Deakin we've been able to welcome lots of Sri Lankan students this year, so hopefully that will continue in the years to come.
Right. Thank you, Bri. Motila, I hope that answered your question. And I have another question through WhatsApp. This is from Hashini. Could you please explain more about the part-time work opportunities on campus and off campus available to international students?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, you're able to work for up to 48 hours every 2 weeks. So what that means is effectively it's 24 hours a week, but it might mean that in week 1 you do 20 hours, and in week 2 you can then go and do, say, 28 hours. Let's just say that you might have a different sort of you might have an exam due an assignment due 1 week and not the other. So you can work with your employer on your casual hours on what you might like to do. So lots of students, there are some jobs available on campus, but more students work off campus. That's normally where students work. And they will work in restaurants, either during the day or in the evenings, lots of service stations around, lots of supermarket work. There's also gig economy jobs that are available to students, depending on whether you want to drive a car in Australia. So there's lots of different options that you can choose. Australia does have lots of strict regulations around paying employees, so that the other thing Deakin Talent will do with you is to make sure that you know your rights. So there will be a minimum wage that you can be paid. In Australia, you don't get paid in cash, you get paid through your bank account, tax, all of that type of thing. So they will sit with you and get you to know your rights, so that if your employer wasn't treating you right, you'd know, so that you can go and seek alternate employment. And there's also agencies that can support you as well if you're having any problems at work. But most students love working, even fast food restaurants. There's we call it Hungry Jack's, but it might be known better here as Burger King, that's right next to the campus. There's lots of restaurants right near the campus that students work in. And then we do have some cafes on campus that students work in. Some of our students also get ambassador roles. So for example, Deakin Talent has ambassadors. Where I work in Deakin International, we have lots of different student ambassadors that we work with. So there are some jobs available also on campus. But when you're so at Deakin, I saw there's a question about intake. So we do an intake in March, July, and in November. We call it a trimester system. And What that means is it's only ever compulsory to study 2 of the trimesters. So you get 1 trimester off, which is approximately 3 to 4 months off per year. During that period, you have unlimited work rights. So you're able to work for the whole, as many hours as you'd like during the time that you are not enrolled in study. And it's also really important to note that when you come to Australia, you need to be enrolled in study to be able to start working. So you can't come, if you wanted to start in March, you can't come early and start working before your course. You need to have started your course before you can look for part-time work. We, of course, want you to treat part-time work as being able to support you, but it's not ever going to be a substitute for the financials that you'll need to supply, going back to that visa question. So it definitely can help, but it's not going to pay your tuition fees, for example. So it's something to support some of your costs while you're in Australia.
Thank you, Bri. In case if Nikki, if you have been referring to the local intakes for pathway programs, we have an intake in September every year, as for now. So if you are wondering whether you'll still be able to secure a seat at the September intake, you still can. We will be enrolling students up until the end of August. So if you are interested, I would like to encourage you to talk to our counselors. And we have another question with regard to biomedical sciences from Pramit. I'd appreciate if you could share your contact details with our counselor so that we can talk to you separately about the pathway. There's another question, Bri, from Upahari. She's asking how to apply for scholarships.
Yes, great. So you saw the 3 different scholarships there. With the 10% Path Partner Scholarship, as long as your grades meet the minimum requirement, which I think is about 60 to 65% in Australia, you'll be given a 10% scholarship automatically. That one it doesn't need you to do anything but your normal application through your agent. If you're getting grades that are probably 70% and above, equivalent to Australian standards, you can look at applying for the 25% scholarship. So that would be through your agency. So when you do your application to Deakin, there'll be something where they can have a bit of a look at your grades. If they think that you're eligible for a scholarship, they'll be able to give you the scholarship form, and you can do that application then. And of course, if you get exceptional grades, which is sort of probably 85 to 90% of Australian, you can also look at applying for our 50 and 100% scholarships. They are highly competitive and there's not many of those at all available. But if you are performing at that level, we'd encourage you to work with your agency to submit that application. And that's all done when you apply to Deakin. So, and you have to have, the other thing I must say is you have to have a firm offer from us. So have met all of the requirements that we need to be able to give you an offer for a scholarship, to be able to look at your scholarship.
Right. Thank you, Bri. And there's another question through the WhatsApp channel asking how much does it cost to complete the pathway program at AIBS Campus? So as I was explaining in my presentation, the total investment that would incur is approximately about 700,000. But our counselors will be in touch with you with regard to the detailed payment plan. And anyway, I would like to pass this message out for every attendee who has joined us with this evening. You will be availing a special 50% off from the admission fee for the pathway program. So I hope that will give you a little bit of more encouragement. And we are happy to answer a few more questions as we do have a couple of minutes left. If you have any questions, please feel free to forward them in the chat box. The same question is there again, Bri, about the business analytics and finance. I think what they are
Yeah,
referring to would be what gives them a better opportunity
yeah.
at P. Yeah,
After they complete. Look, in terms of salaries, they're both very good salaries. There's lots of job prospects for both of those. I think that it comes back to what I was saying before. You need to figure out what you actually want to study because they are quite different courses. So you may have different interest areas. So I would probably encourage you to do that bit of research. And then once you have some more specific questions, we can tackle those ones. But I think it's really important that you do look into the two courses really thoroughly and Chanel sent the website for seek.com.au to have a look at some of those jobs that exist and just have a really good think about the type of careers that you'd want to go into. So do you want to work in finance? Do you want to work as a business analyst? They are different and I think that it is very important that you go and do some further research on what really drives you as opposed to us sort of telling you which course to do because it does really impact the rest of your life as well.
right. Thank you, Bri. Right. So we have another question from Motila. He's asking which would be the best option between the two. Completing bachelor's in Sri Lanka and then applying for Deakin for master's, or continuing both bachelor's and master's in Deakin?
Oh, that's a great question. There's no best outcome. Obviously, having pathways such as the one that we do with AIBS is a wonderful financial opportunity for people, as well as getting to stay home for a little bit longer, getting a bit of a soft landing, getting some of those skills after high school and getting those through AIBS in a more familiar atmosphere before you look to coming to Australia. In Australia, I will say you can easily get jobs straight after Bachelor. So we don't require students to have a master's like some countries where you really need a master's to be able to go further. In Australia, a Bachelor will happily get your job. Obviously, choosing to do Bachelor plus Masters in Australia is going to be more expensive than just coming for one of the two. But these are all opportunities that you're going to have to sort of consider for your personal circumstances. But I think that whichever one you choose, I would encourage these pathway programs as if you're thinking Bachelor, these pathway programs are a really great option if you're looking to masters later as well, because they do sort of, if you do 1 year here, it almost sort of does that offset for you to consider masters later. So the other thing that can be nice is to do some work after a bachelor degree. So in Australia, that can give you that opportunity after you study here, do some work in Australia, and then really think about what masters you want to do after you finish. Because sometimes, for example, the student who's interested in both analytics and finance might want to do an undergraduate degree in one and then look at a master's degree in the other one to really complement what they're studying. So there is some opportunity to look at both of those, but obviously personal circumstances will be important for you to consider.
Right. But so we have a few more questions, Bri. What sort of student support services are there?
Yeah, so as Asanthi sort of mentioned, there's incredible student support services, and it's something that we're ranked #1 for. So there's things from the mentoring program, there's academic support, there's even just going to your lecturer. They'll have drop-in sessions in their offices that you can go and get some support with. There's also counselling. So thinking outside of the classroom, if you've got any mental health problems, we're very big on supporting health and wellbeing in Australia. On campus, we also have a medical clinic. So there's physical wellbeing as well as mental wellbeing on campus. Obviously, Deakin Talent, graduate employment opportunities. That's a really big support that we have there. We have the Deakin University Student Association. So that's something that you can get support with if you've got any problems. In addition to Deakin supporting students with financial and study opportunities. There's also external things such as Study Melbourne. If you've experienced financial hardship, they can also give you some support in those things on occasion. But really, it's more the academic support, and of course, sort of the as Asanthi mentioned, it's a big change coming to Australia, and whilst it's a fantastic place to come and live, it's not what you've grown up with. So there's also in counselling that support for when you're homesick, and also having student support so that you don't always have to go to an adult because you might not feel as comfortable. So that's where those mentors really help as well. So lots and lots of student support. I guess the one thing that I would say is you do have to engage in it. And when you do engage in it, I think that you end up having a much better experience at university because you know that all of those mechanisms are in place. And if you're in one of the top scholarships, there's also an additional program that you can be a part of. And on the other end, if you're really struggling with your academics and you don't do so well in that first year, and you might even fail some subjects, there's support to get you back up and to make sure that you're able to pass in the next year. So lots of support at both ends of the spectrum, and all areas of health, wellbeing, study support, social support, all of those types of things. So you'll never be alone.
Thank you, Bri. There's another question related to visa. So I would direct this question to our expert, Asanthi. If the student was unable to get visa after completing the foundation, what are the options available at AIBS to complete the diploma stage till they reapply for visa?
Tusharini.
Tusharini, question is from Tusharini.
Tusharini, thank you for that message. Like, yes, at AIBS, this is a Deakin pathway, but you're going, like, first you're finishing like 2 semesters with us, which will also give the entrance to our kind of a degree, BSc degree in business here. So don't get discouraged even your visa get rejected. You won't get strangled not going to Deakin. Yes, you won't able to go to Deakin to complete the degree, but you can complete the BSc degree in business in Sri Lanka, which will be a UK qualification. But I hope that you won't, your visa will get rejected, definitely, because you're doing studies, and with all the background, if you meet all the visa requirement, there is no reason for them to reject your visa if everything is in order. So first focus on your basic studies at the foundation here. That means the pathway to Deakin, and definitely you can go for the last 2 years at Deakin.
Thank you, Asanthi. There's another question. What is the minimum age criteria to do a bachelor's? Bri, if you'd like to check that.
Yeah, so look, we typically are looking for students to be 18 when they're starting at university. We do have some students who are 17, but there's additional requirements for guardianship. So for example, you couldn't come and live on campus if you're below 18 years of age. So we would work with you on making sure that we can support you in, if you have a relative in Australia, they can be your guardian. If you need support to have a guardianship, the university can do that. But it's not until 18 that you can live on campus, because obviously we don't have a direct adult guardian caring for you. But typically students should be getting closer to the 18 mark, even if they're 17, or not too far off, because it's also a good experience for you to be 18. That's sort of the legal age for most activities in Australia as well. So that's a good age to sort of be looking at. But of course, if you're a little bit shy of that at 17, we can work with you as well.
Right. Thank you, Bri. And there's another question from Opahari. Will you be sharing the recording and the presentation? Of course, the recording of today's session will be available in AIB's YouTube page. So make sure to go and subscribe soon after the webinar. And the presentation, I need to get permission from Bri And if so, I would be happy to share the presentation with all the attendees. Right. I think that's about it, Bri. But if you do have questions, uh, please feel free to approach our student counselors. There are two contact numbers here in the screen. You could see. You could contact Vidunwan and Bimbisha, who will be assist you with the questions you have about the Deakin pathway available at the AIBS campus, and basically collect your feedback and see what sort of help we can provide you with our Deakin team here in Sri Lanka. So, with that being said, let us conclude the session today. Thank you all for joining us, joining with us today. We appreciate your time and engagement, and we hope you found this session informative. A special thank to Bri and Shanal for helping me to arrange this particular session, and also for the ongoing support provided towards AIBS to deliver this Deakin Pathway program to our local students. Thank you,
Thank
Asanti, for
you.
sharing your valuable insights as well. And have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Bri.
Shan.
Thanks, Shanal. Thanks,
Thanks, Shanal.
everyone.
Thanks everyone for joining.